Hi there everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the Ridgid Model R4513 and we're going to unbox it and assemble it and just take a look at it together. Okay, here I have the Ridgid Tablesaw model number. It's the 4513. It's the newer one that just came out, replacing the 4510. Just picked it up at the Home Depot on sale for $2.99. So here it is in the box. It's pretty big. It fit in the back of my hatchback car. And anyway, I'm gonna just assemble this thing and see how it goes. Okay, here's just the top of the box is open now, and you can see things are nicely nestled into some styrofoam. I'm gonna start pulling all this stuff out, and I did find the operator's manual as a PDF. I already downloaded that, so I'll keep this for handy reference, and of course the safety key. But I already read through this earlier for the most part, but it's a pretty basic saw. Okay, I pulled the styrofoam part out, and underneath is the saw. Looks like it came shipped in upside down position with the table facing down. So I'll pull that out. Alright, so I got all the leg and stand components sitting on the floor here. It looks like they have a lot of the components kind of pre-assembled at this point, which is really nice. Let's see, one thing I did notice that the directions said that there are letters stamped into the steel. Let's see if that F right there, and there is a letter H right there, and those will match to letters on other pieces, and so that kind of helps figure that out just looking off of this explosion diagram. Alright, I opened the bag of bolts and hardware. So it looks like there are 4 kind of carriage bolts with nuts, and 4 small spacers, 2 large spacers, and just a handful of other things, just not too much. So I will get into that next here. Alright, so I have this piece assembled here. All I really did was add some lag bolts here with the small spacer, and I put on the handles. I haven't tightened these up yet. But then we're just going to set that directly on top of this one so that these pieces line up with these holes here, and the large spacer will go in between. I'll show you that. That piece is on. As you can see, the big spacer goes right there, the bolt going all the way through. It's really no big deal. I'll go ahead and tighten those up and on to the next step. Here's the wheel. It's actually a pretty nice wheel. I thought it was just plastic, but that's a nice rubber tread on the tire, and I like how there's no air. That's going to make it real nice and stable. So anyway, all we're going to do is slide in a large washer on right here, then the wheel, then small washer and lock nut, and tighten it up. And one last set of carriage bolts goes from this piece here, right on the end, and into here. And to get that to line up, we'll just kind of lift the stand up, and that will receive the small spacer in between. And here's the stand all folded up, or all assembled, and in the upright position. It is ready to go. Alright, here's the saw set on the stand. Got it on there really easy. It's easy enough to lift with one person, and just dropped 4 bolts, 1 on each corner, and put those nuts on. Pretty much ready to go now. I'll probably go back and make sure that the throat plate is really nice and flush, that the riving knife is in line with the blade. Make sure the fence, of course, is square, and also the bevel angle is all set, and maybe I'll do another video on that later. The saw is fully assembled now and ready to go. I haven't gone through and tuned it up at all or checked for squareness on the blade. I haven't calibrated any of the bevel angles or anything, but they're usually pretty close stock from what I hear on this one. I will go ahead and do that later before doing any real work on it. A few of the features I really like here are this table extension. Just flip that lever up right in the middle and then lock it back down when you're done. The tape measure does roll out as you extend it to accommodate the new length. I'm not sure if that's going to last forever, but you know, I always measure from the blade over to the fence anyway. So it's not too big of a concern for me if I lose it. Let's see, what else? I like how every part of the saw, whether it's safety on this side or the fence and the miter gauge, it's all right there. So when you wheel it to your job site, it's ready to go. Now the stand, it seems pretty stable. It's adjustable feet on that side, so you can accommodate for any floor. I like how this part of the stand does act as, you know, more support for your feed stock on that side. Let's take a look at this fence here. It stores right on the side, upside down. And it's a really nice fence. It's nice and thick, and it has T-tracks on both sides, as well as the top. Just installs like any other fence, just slides right on the end. And it does have a nice, smooth finish, locks down very nicely, and it's not moving anywhere. It's really stable. And when you're done, you can just pop that right off and slide it into here right upside down. Alright, well, we can talk about some of the safety features. It has a grabbing knife in the blade. Just wheel that blade right up. And you can move this lever up in here, and the grabbing knife can raise right into position. This saw is turned off. It's not hooked to anything right now, so I would never reach my hand in near that blade with the saw plugged in. Alright, so both the blade guard and the dog pieces are on the side over here. And those just install right back here. Alright, there you go. That's pretty much that. And they also, you know, they're always there for when you need them. I know I don't use this a lot, and I find these tend to make scoring lines on any finish work I'm working with. So, but if it's an awkward piece of rough metal lumber or something, then sure, I guess that's a good idea. And for sheet goods, this is a good idea, but my favorite part is just this splitter in the back, and that really, it's going to reduce that amount of pinching on the blade and kickbacks. So I do need to make sure that this is properly aligned with the blade. When I'm eyeballing it, it appears that it's just fine, but I'll go ahead and measure that up and see how it does on my thin curved blades too. So that's always something to take in. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the miter gauge that comes with the saw. It's stored over here near the fence, just slides out of a groove. It feels like a nice miter gauge. It does have some stops that are adjustable. I don't know, it seems to, you know, go in and it moves forward and backwards. It's fine. And it's got some nice, I don't know, tracks to accommodate a larger fence if you want to put one on, which I probably will if I ever use this. I don't use these a whole lot, but when I do, it would be nice to have a larger either clamping surface or just support for cross-cutting. It does come with a push stick. It's stored right on the side here, so you can grab it really easily. You know, I usually end up using it and leaving it on the table when I'm working, just because it's a little easier to quickly grab. I've seen some that have clips on the fence, and I can always add something like that if someone wants to, but you know, there's no excuse to leave this at home if it's always right there, though. Then you're not having to fabricate something out of a piece of scrap or something. But that's nice. Also, the switch is very easy. And if I'm standing here, you can kind of bump it with your knee if you kind of know where it is. So it leaves my hands free so I can keep them on the saw. Let's take a look at these adjustments here. They are a little bit different than some of them I've seen. I like how on the bevel, this lever locks it into position, and you have two options here. One is kind of fine-tuning it with this gear system, which I like, or you can push in on the collar, just like that, and then just move the whole angle, and that, of course, changes the blade angle. That's what we're doing here. And then you can kind of just move it up, and then lock it in a position wherever you want it. I do like that. Also, it seems to go up and down really nicely. You have to turn it a bunch of times to make any progress, but it really functions well. I do like how it has a little bit of a lock, so now I can't move that up and down. So if you're doing dados or just need a certain height locked in the position, that keeps it from, you know, vibrating or moving around at all. So that's a good feature there for sure. On this side, we have blade storage and wrench storage and your safety equipment. So your blade guard and those feed dogs there, the anti-kickback pawls. So yeah, that's great, and it's nice how you can wrap the cord around that. They're not there's some plastic cord catches, so they're not the most robust, but I mean, it's just a cord catch, so that's all you really need there. And in the back here, we have just a standard shop vac size. What is that, 2 1/4, 2.5 inch, whatever, vacuum port. So it's also cut, so it rotates with the saw, and it's got enclosed kind of housing in there, so it will suck. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm curious to see how efficient the collection is. And again, over on this side, we have a push stick area, kind of slot, and then the miter gauge slot, and then the fence slides upside down right there. I'll just go ahead and grab that for you here. And just a long tray that just pushes right in, just like that. So it's nice and out of the way. To fold this up, we're going to stand on this side, and right here is a foot pedal that you depress with your foot. And then I just give the handles down here a lift, or the tabletop itself, and it very easily just rotates right back. And then you just a little bit farther up and give this a push, and it locks into position, and that kicks back and it's ready to wheel around. Very nice and stable. Well, that wraps it up for the Ridgid R4513 table saw. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.